Hi, I'm Tina Litster at Circe Creek Boutique. Our mission is to empower you to courageously create. We created these kits for you to eliminate the guesswork and to give you the tools, the knowledge, and the courage to create your own work of art. Hello friends, we're going to make a spring wreath. We've been waiting a long time for winter to be over, and it is time to welcome spring with a new wreath. This wreath has beautiful peach roses and cottage roses and peonies. It has just an explosion of different greens and some white flowers with little pink buds. It's made on an 18-inch grapevine wreath. So let's make this wreath. Not much of this wreath shows, but a little part of it does right around 5 o'clock. So on this wreath, it's not really very perfectly round, but I like this section right here. So this is the part that I'm going to put at 5 o'clock. I always do things according to the clock. And then opposite this is the focal point of the wreath. It's the place where we put the one peach peony, and then this part is a little less covered than the other. And so what we do, everything in this wreath starts at the focal point of where this peach peony is going to be. All of the greens, all of the flowers explode out from that direction and come around and almost meet. Actually, they do meet and just overlap a tiny bit right here, but you can still see some of the wreath. So when we start this, we're going to start with the focal point at 11 o'clock, just opposite the little bare spot. So we're going to start with the ficus leaves. These are ficus leaves and they're a nice light green. We're going to start by branching out from that focal point, and we're just going to poke them in around the wreath randomly but regularly. So at regular intervals, but they won't be all uniform. One of the things that you need to do right here is compensate for any misshape that the wreath has. This wreath is not oval or egg shaped, it's just kind of misshapen. So just make sure that the foundation leaves that you're putting on have a nice round shape. And we poke them in, and we just go around like this. Oops, I've got that one upside down. Make sure that they're right side up. And then here. I like that placement. It's regular, but it's not thick in any place, but this is the foundation, so that's how we start. Now that we have them how we like them, we're going to glue each one in place. So to glue it in place, you retract it a little bit from where it was, pool some glue right around the stem, and then reinsert it into the twigs of the wreath. Same here. So retract it, pool some glue, and reinsert it where it was. This one, I want to tuck this little branch underneath a branch or a twig of the wreath. And now I have one left, and I want to make it a little bit thicker right underneath the focal point. So I'm going to poke it into the wreath here. And bend it down so that it faces toward the middle of the wreath. Okay, pick away any glue strings that you have. There will always be glue strings. And if you pick them away with each layer, then you don't have a bunch of distracting glue strings around. Now sometimes leaves become separated from their plastic stems. That's the way it is with silk leaves. Sometimes I saw one here. This one is separated. Put a little bit of glue down there and just reattach it to the stem. You can just pull it off, but I like to preserve every leaf. Okay, that's the beginning. I don't know what these white spots are, so I'm going to, I'm going to clip that off right there with my wire cutters. Excellent. The next thing that we put on are these toothed doublet leaves, or the really spring green. If I've had to make substitutions, you find the really spring green leaf that's next. And same thing, we're just placing these around the wreath to cover up any bare spots. Point these toward the middle of the wreath or toward the outside for the most part. You want to really get the most out of these little leaflets. They don't have very long stems sometimes, but that's okay because we're going to use glue to secure them in. By pointing them toward either the inside of the wreath or the outside, it really gives it a great deal of volume and kind of a wild look. We want this to look like an explosion of green, and so we want the bright green leaves to really stand out by putting them toward the inside or the outside of the wreath. I'm going to put another one right down here in the middle, pointing toward the center of the wreath, kind of pointing toward the 5 o'clock position. One little one right here, and a little one standing up right there. Okay, I like where those are. They're random, but they're all over the wreath. So now let's do the same thing. Retract it a tiny bit, pull some glue in, and then push it down into the twigs of the wreath to secure it. The next thing that we do are these willowy branches, and they really fill out the rest of the wildness of this wreath. They actually meet right down here at the bottom. They crisscross a little bit. These, you notice the ficus and these toothed plants, they don't meet there, but these do. They still expose a little bit of the wreath, but they meet right down there. So poke them in, and again point some toward the inside of the wreath, some toward the outside. Tuck them under the other leaves and lay them over the top. You want a lot of variety here, and you have several of these, so you don't skimp on these. These give the wreath a lot of its personality. See, that one's sticking a little too far out. I don't want to do it too far out. You want it to look a little wild, but not anything completely out of place. Again, we're going to put one down in the center, pointing toward 5 o'clock, or not in the center, but in the focal point, pointing toward 5 o'clock. And I think I want one here. Okay, I like that. Now, make sure that when you're gluing these in, because there's a lot of them, you just need to go systematically around the wreath so you don't miss any. Glue each stem in. You go through 6 to 10 glue sticks for this wreath. Some wreaths don't use that much, but this one has a lot going on, so you use quite a bit of glue. Pick off your glue strings. Now it's time to put flowers on. All right, we are going to start with the peony. That is the focal point, and it actually points right down toward the center, or toward the center and toward the 5 o'clock position. You may have to shorten this stem a bit. So poke it so it faces downward and toward 5 o'clock, toward this little bare area here. Okay, so there's the big peony. Now we fill it in. We have these cottage roses with the dark interiors, and these cottage roses with the pale ones. Put them in as you like them. There's enough glue in here that it can get hard to place your stems in. So I would start with the peony here, a cottage rose here, or a dark cottage rose here, and another one up here. And then we fill in the blank spaces with the lighter cottage roses. You want this to be random, but not have blank spaces. Okay, I want another cottage rose here. And then this down here. And I think I'm going to put a floribunda right here. And a cottage rose to end it up here. There we go. All right, now I see right here that it's kind of a flattened circle right here. So I need to bring some things up. That's why you don't glue anything in until you like its placement. Because I can see in my circle here, see how it's kind of flat right there? So I want to bring these things up a bit. So pull them out. Just bring everything a little bit to the top, and that will round out your wreath really nicely. You know what, I think I'll put this cottage rose here because it's got more bulk. I've got so much glue in this area that it's being difficult. There we go. Oh, that is nice. That's exactly what it needed to be. And then I will finish it off over here with this floribunda. That is nice. If you smashed your flowers a little bit, you may have to rearrange them a little bit with your fingers. I really like the placement of those. It fills in from about 2 o'clock until about 7 o'clock. So, and again, pointing toward the focal point. Well, I shifted it. So it's from about 1 o'clock until about 7 o'clock here. Okay, I really like that. So let's glue in the roses. You may have to pull roses out of the way when you glue these in because there's a lot in here right now. And you just have to pull stuff out of the way so that you don't glue it all, the petals together. If the stems are rather thin, use a little more glue. Some stems are thin and some are thick, just depending on the manufacturing of them. Okay, pick off your glue strings. And then see how I smashed some of these roses? I need to rearrange the petals so that they look nice. You don't want them to look smashed. Very nice. Now the very last thing we put in are these little white flowers with the berries on them. And these go randomly just throughout it, just to fill in blanks and to give it, this kind of gives it continuity actually, just like the leaves do. And make sure you poke these underneath the leaves so that the flowers peek out from underneath things and go underneath and above, and you have plenty of these, so you don't need to skimp on them either. Poke some in between the flowers. They'll be hard to glue in, but it makes it look so much nicer when there's some around the big flowers. Okay, I have one left. I'm looking for a bare spot, and I want to put this right here. Now, look it over, see if you have any spots. See, I feel like I have a whole lot right here, but I don't have any out here, and I don't have any up here. So I'm going to actually pull one from here and put it here. And then I'm going to move this one just a little closer in so that it fills that gap. I'm going to put it on top of this leaf thing. There we go. That's better. And then over here, I actually want to twist this so that the flower doesn't go to the outside there. I have a branch here that's not twisted into the rest. I'm just going to remove it. And I want to bring this one into the center. There we go. That, I like that. I'm satisfied with that. So again, systematically, because you don't want to lose any and not glue them in, go around the wreath in one direction and just make sure that you are gluing in each stem of flowers. Okay, pull away your glue strings. And you'll need to go through and find any places where it's kind of smashed down and just fluff it all out so that you're getting the very best of all of these different branches and leaves, so that nothing is hidden away that you want to be prominent. And you notice how I have leaves in between flowers, and sometimes they cover up flowers a little bit, but that's how nature grows. It doesn't grow all in layers. It grows intertwined and intermingled with each other. That's what makes it so beautiful, the variety of it. There's a super easy way to put a hanger on a wreath. If you don't have an over-the-door wreath hanger, you'll need to have something to hang it onto, a nail or a screw or whatever you use. So I'm going to show you my favorite easy way to put on a hanger. Put your wreath on the table in the position that you want it to hang on the door or the wall or wherever you're putting it. And you may have to hold it up and make sure that that's exactly where you want it. I want this at 5 o'clock. So what I'm going to do is take it at the 6 o'clock position right here and flip it over so that now the 6 o'clock position is the 12 o'clock position. So this is the 12 o'clock right here. I just take a zip tie, loop it around at the 12 o'clock position, loop it around some of the twigs in the wreath. If you can get into a nice strong one like this, do that. If there's not one near, just make sure you're looped around several of the smaller wreaths. And then you'll have to find the end of the zip tie, bring it back around. This is a 6-inch zip tie, and it's plenty long for this. Bring it back around, and then you just, now with a zip tie, there's a smooth end, and then there's the end with the box on it. You want to push the tail of the zip tie through the smooth end, zip it until it starts to make the clicking sound, and then you can clip off that end, tuck the end part into the wreath, just twist it around till you do, and then this becomes your hanger, and it's a really, really convenient way to make a hanger. So that is beautiful. I hope you love your wreath. Happy wreath making, and we'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed making this wreath with me. Remember to like the video and subscribe to my channel below. And for more creative surprises, visit my website and my Etsy shop at the addresses shown. See you next time.